I'm at the PyData conference, and that means I was awake at 5 in my morning. That is 7 hours ago.
Wow.
No. Yeah, but I'm a bit exhausted.
Yeah.
And it's continuing. It's incredible. We have a schedule from, in my time zone, 3 a.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Wow. That's a long time.
I think it's European time, but it's all day, all evening. It's like,
Yeah, but that's total. That's more than like 8 hours, right?
yeah.
What was the name of the conference again? I lost the audio on
That's
that.
PyData.
Spell that. PyData?
Py as in Python. And
Python data. Okay. Yeah.
So there's some interesting insights about graph solvers and NLP and scaling up machine learning and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's definitely interesting. There's a few people from the Spacey team, which does pretty advanced NLP. That's quite interesting.
Cool.
And that's, yeah.
Any topics you want to talk about today?
Frankly, if we're alone, I may abscond. There's more at the conference I'd listen to, given the choice.
I don't have any burning topics either. So
I'm converging on a data model for ambiguity. So
awesome.
that's happening. Again, with great help from Daniel Norman, but I think we're getting somewhere. I'll have something, I think, I'll have a story to tell soon.
This may be unrelated or even overlapping in a bad way, but I just realized WordNick, the website that pulls from multiple dictionaries, has an API.
Yeah.
So one of my old little projects is to create a unique URL or have a way of having a unique URL to every definition. But there's a couple problems technologically wise. They don't have unique IDs in their API. And they prefer that you not store the data. So then I have to figure out, how do I get back to that? How do I hit their API and get that definition back?
Indeed. They don't have unique IDs.
Mm-hmm.
What the?
Well, they're pulling the data.
The WordNet.
I think they're pulling it. They're pulling the data dynamically from the other dictionaries. So they're not generating a unique ID and storing it somewhere with a reference to their data response. Because I assume those websites, some of those do have unique IDs, but some of them in the response doesn't. So I think that they just never tackled that problem.
And can't you download the WordNet data?
So they have a 200,000 words database, and I haven't looked at the restrictions on that. They call it their game data set. 109,000 playable words. That's the one they have on their site. So it's $1,150 apparently.
Oh,
one-time licensing fee. So
the most recent is 2005. No, the version 3.1 database files only, no code, can be downloaded. Oh yeah, I have it.
Yeah, they're probably there are probably some open source ones and stuff, but
and I think isn't the multilingual the WordNet search only speaks about 3.1. Is that is it
WordNick? And no WordNick, not WordNet.
Oh,
WordNet was kind of, there was something weird about their, yeah, no, I'm not talking about WordNet. Their UI was crappy. I didn't look at downloading their data.
Okay, and there's a GitHub, and that's probably API libraries and open source word list for game developers. Definitions from 5 dictionaries, and then antonym, word of the day, random word. Yeah. Okay, I don't know about it, so I have nothing much to offer.
Yeah, I was saying that was a way to get kind of definitions from multiple dictionaries at once, all in a JSON format. But
yeah, and of course
I don't know if
frankly, yeah, I'd still use old WordNet because WordNet has its issues, but it has a whole semantic. There was another project. There was a multilingual WordNet. Multi-WordNet. The open multilingual WordNet is that project. There was. There have been projects to do these open source multi-WordNet, open multilingual WordNet. Global. There was a semantic web thing that was
I don't even see where to. Earlier before maybe you sent me a link that had a link to a WordNet page where they had the definition of the words, but right now my Google Flu is not. I can't even find where to search for a word on WordNet. Do they have that? Am I just missing it?
Used to have.
Is it just word.net or is it?
Use WordNet online. Let's see if it works.
WordNet.
Or search.
Ian-word.net, Open English WordNet. Yeah, I just don't know. WordNet.org. I don't know which of these is the official one. The Princeton link.
I'm getting something. That's the Princeton WordNet online. BabbleNet. That.
Interesting. en-word.net is an open English WordNet, and it allowed you to download as JSON RDF. That's the GitHub one, yeah.
Okay, global WordNet seems to exist. The globalwordnet.org, and there's something like GWA based concept. Let me look at that. I think that's promising. Selected Hero WordNet concepts and ontology.
Anyways, there's
something you can download on the page I just sent. There's the 5,000 common base concepts from EuroWordNet and Balcanet as WordNet 2 synset. That's interesting. Coordinate annotated corpora. And core verbs. There's corpora. That follow the word in assistant. That's one family, but there's another one I need to know. Oh, that looks good. That's something new for me.
But in general, this is going to be, I'm just wondering, like, I kind of have been wanting to put this together for a while, and I just
Yeah, what's your
run
goal?
across it, but I don't know. I mean, probably be best just to wait to see kind of what you get out. I don't know, in your mind, is it like when people are disambiguating, they will write kind of a definition of their concept? And you imagine that would match existing word definitions or be a completely different thought process?
Slightly different. Basically, as I see a definition is made of claim. You're saying, this word used in this sense or this sentence interpreted in a certain way means here's a claim about what it means. And in a way, a meaning is a collection of claims that are held to be true or false, but same reverse claim to be true, same difference. So in a way, it's a kind of power set of all the claims you could make about this set. Of course, that's too big. So you want to track entailment and kind of relative entropy of different versions. And I'm trying to come up with a procedure to say, this is bringing new information, this is not bringing new information. Not with abstract machine learning entropy, but with asking people, you believe this, okay, is this part of your definition of the term? Yes, no. And then you find that a term is a claim is both believed and disbelieved by enough people for some definition of enough, so that this means there's a fork in the concept at that point. It could be empirical. It could be an empirical fact as usual, but supposing it's a definitional fact, like if this were not true, I'd have another name for it.
Well, I mean, I guess I'm not going that far, and I don't know if this use case falls into what you're doing or not. But I'm just writing a blog post, and I want to use the word rhetoric, and I want to make sure that they know that I'm talking about the type of rhetoric that's someone using language well, rather than the type of rhetoric where someone's using language to deceive.
Right.
So it's not, in that case, it's not like beliefs in any ways. It's just saying this is a longer way of, it's a symbol, a short symbol, and here's the long description of what the symbol is.
But
so
to go back to my way of seeing it, the question is deception, intent to deceive, part of the definition of rhetoric or not?
No, well, no, but right, but I'm not saying
that. But that's exactly it. It's you're saying the way you're using rhetoric does not include that claim or excludes explicitly that claim, and those are different. Like you could say it can be either it does involve intent to deceive, it does explicitly not involve intent to deceive. And those are three different usages of the word rhetoric, and you could specify which one you mean. But that's a claim
Yeah.
about the definition.
Well, okay, but the claim is this is what I mean when I'm saying it. So it's not like there's no point in debating that claim. I'm claiming that this is what I'm saying. I'm
Yep,
not
yep, yep,
talking
yep.
about whether that is what I'm saying. I'm not making a claim that that is what I'm saying. I'm just claiming that, there's no
You're not
value in debating it.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm interested in. The case where this is not about agree to disagree. It's not an empirical fact. It is, what is your definition of the term? And you're not even making a statement that this is what rhetoric always means. You're making the statement that this is the way you're using the word rhetoric now. And if you don't agree with that, you're talking about something else. It's not that you're wrong, it's you're talking about something else. And making that part of the definition that you're using in a given context. That's absolutely the intent. Saying in this usage of the word, the concept I'm referring to has these attached claims, including intent to deceive is not essential to the definition of rhetoric as I'm using it here. But making it clear that the word rhetoric is used to point to three distinct concepts. One where intent to deceive is essential, is forbidden, or is indifferent. And these are three distinct concepts, and you pick this one in this context. And I'm saying it's always a claim that distinguishes meaning.
Yeah. So if I wanted to have a way for me to easily from a website link to, so in my original envision of this tool, it would just be a string of text, right? It's not as detailed as what you're doing.
No.
I'm just trying to think of whether I should just wait and do this with your system, or if there's value in doing it with the existing way people define things today, which is very loosey-goosey and inaccurate.
Well, by the way, if I were using text definitions the way you're suggesting to do it, why not use Wiktionary?
Why not what?
Use Wiktionary.
Because it doesn't do what I want. No, so Wiktionary has if we look up rhetoric in Wiktionary.
That's a good example.
Actually, I can't even see the definition here. So they have two definitions: the art and use of language, and then two: meaningless language with an exaggerated style intended to impress.
Yep.
So, and there's no way to link to either of those. So I mean, and I don't know if I can get a data set to where I can access those definitions easily.
You're absolutely right. I thought they had identifiers. You're absolutely right.
I mean, I haven't looked into it much, but
No. I thought it did more than this. I'm disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
Your audio seems to be going up and down. I don't know if it's me or you.
Yes, when I'm typing.
Oh, it's doing some audio. Yeah.
It's muting the microphone when I'm typing. It's a little tool called Unclack, which I think is useful otherwise, but yes, it has side effects.
I'm surprised there aren't more silent keyboards coming out with everyone doing conferences, online stuff.
Well, I choose my keyboard for ergonomics, not for noise. And I don't think there's silent version of it.
No,
Yeah.
right, yeah. They want very good tactile feedback, and that is best with audio. I was thinking about getting a glass panel because I can't touch type. I have to watch. So just something to reflect the sound away from my mic. But
I got myself to touch type when I switched to Dvorak. I don't even look at the keyboard now. But yes, that's another thing. Okay, so anyway, I could do more research. I think doing it live is useless. I think that having a good word space, good old WordNet is not that bad, and I think it could serve you.
I can't even find it right now.
WordNet.princeton.edu.
Okay, so I go to wordnet.princeton.edu. Oh, let's
There's a
download.
download.
Well, but okay. Yeah, I haven't decided whether I want to host all the definitions or not, but yeah.
No, it's clearly the simplest way because it's not that big, which is the beauty of WordNet.
Well, if it's, yeah, is it? I mean, but like right now, I'd want to see, well, how many definitions do they have of rhetoric compared to the other apps? So now I have to download the whole file and open it up and find rhetoric.
No,
Is it two definitions like the other one, or is it more like the 10?
No, I gave you the link for the first link I gave you was let's use it for something. Rhetoric,
that link doesn't work for me. I get a is not responding. It did finally come up. It didn't come up before.
I had it with character. You can use it with rhetoric.
Yeah, a minute ago that wasn't coming up.
Okay. Or meanings. Or very good meanings, I think. Problem with WordNet is that it takes, but
it's weird that it has, I guess maybe that's not weird, but it kind of has synonyms at the beginning before the definition, which is just a formatting preference. Yeah, and then to see whether they have unique identifiers, which they probably do since it's a single database, but they may not.
Yeah.
Of course, if it's a single database that I'm comfortable starting with, then I could, assign unique identifiers. That's not a big deal. It's just syncing up.
I remember there was in PyPy, there was something that could read the WordNet database and give you a kind of API to it. Yeah, project PyPy WordNet, and it is that the one? Build status, create a simple. No.
Yeah, although I'm sure I could figure something out. I hadn't done much research, so I eventually would have stumbled across this. But the question is it worth doing this, or would you suggest waiting until you're figuring what you're doing, and or is there still value in having a website where you can get to you can link to individual definitions?
I think both are useful.
Okay.
I think what I'm building has value, greater value for evolving concepts, but for base concepts, and plus we don't know when I'll be ready, and WordNet is there.
That's true.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah, so actually eventually we would almost have to redefine everything in there's no conversion from existing definitions to what you're looking at, because you're doing there's those are lossy definitions, and yours is progressively specific. So yeah, okay. Well, good. That's good to know.
WordNet is crazy interesting because the last link uh,
Yeah, the spacey coordinate.
because they say, oh yeah, we're talking to WordNet, multi-WordNet, WordNet domains. So they're talking to many things. There's presumably a way to get, just looking at the GitHub right now. Oh. Insets for domain. Oh, very cute. Right. It doesn't tell us if you get insets is right. Ah, they have numbers basically. Definition 1 of, definition 2 of. If you click to this, you see Doug noun 1. So we should be able to get, and do we get them from NLP, from say keyword.net? Does it make a best guess? That's really the interesting question. Yeah, I'm getting curious. Want to test with me? That's fair. Oh, what is it sharing? Stop share.
Yeah, these word net definitions look pretty good. It's at least good disambiguation.
Oh, I probably have to. My latest list.
Oh yeah, it looks like it's the license is pretty open. They don't give a name for the license type.
The example with oh. Okay. Now let's look at sentence. Sentence dot, what is it again? And that's the only, that's not good. Okay. Actually, let's look at withdraw 0, 1, 2, 3. C dot wordnet. Okay. Let's first try this. Space, yes, mine solves it fine. Withdraw V9, excellent. So it's telling me this is, it's specified, it got a specific meaning, not just one.
Cool. So it's looking at the context and determining.
But the withdraw could be in all those contexts. Woohoo. Okay, and if I tell it, okay, tell me if this in the context of Earth. Huh. Not sure why, but fair enough. So I have to give it a context. Interesting. Certainly, this doesn't seem to work. Oh yeah, it does. I don't know how it did it. Very good. How did it do it? Because when I did, I had only one synset. Okay. That's the synset. Synset is not assurable. Ah, now we're speaking. Okay, what else can I do with a synset? Definition. Nice. So it identified, but I don't know that it knew, like word set synsets for domain. I don't know if it could have guessed that this was the one. But there's no entity here. It's interesting. No, there's no entity. And here it's all possible lemmas that could go. It did not disambiguate. Okay, so basically, it's just telling you here are all the possibilities, and I could get probably definitions of all of these. No. Hypernames and in topic domain, in usage domain. There is a lot of information. Count. Count. Wow. Nah. It's a double loop. Or I can probably go faster. Yeah. Yeah, this is what you'd want. You've got an identifier and a definition. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And if you have the
Okay.
domain, you can make a best guess. A best guess. You can restrict the guess, right? You can say
Yeah.
this is a
Although I was just envisioning, someone's writing something, they would just go look up the link and link it in rather
that's
than
pretty much
A4.
it.
Yeah.
Making that into a link to WordNet would work, because I'm sure that we can now reverse engineer those.
Well, I wouldn't link to WordNet because they don't link to individual definitions. So I'm just talking about creating my own website with all the links. I don't think they do. Maybe they do. No, you can highlight one. That's a pretty bad experience. So I would rather just have my own website where people can link to. Rhetoric
Do it.
4.
You can do it easily because the data's there.
Yeah, I just have to parse their ASCII files and generate.
No, but it's all there. I just an LTK has that for you.
What do you mean in LTK? I'm not
I
familiar
was
with that.
using Spacey, right? The Spacey and the Spacey WordNet library, but it actually talks to the NLTK WordNet. So there's the NLTK WordNet that reads that, and then you get, this is really what you want. So it reads the WordNet data set, and you have nothing else to do. NLTK is the natural language toolkit Python library.
But is this an online API or I have to run some code on my local machine?
You have to run some code on your local machine.
Yeah, that's not. I'm doing this back-endless.
You have a server.
No, I don't have a server.
Oh, backend list.
I have a file server. I don't need to host an API somewhere and run code every time someone wants to look something up. I'd rather just generate, a static site or hit someone else's API. But I'm not looking to.
Do you want me to make an API out of this? It should be Howard.
I don't. I would have to look to see whether it's really kind of what I want, because all I want to do is have a website to where if someone goes to rhetoric/3, it consistently pulls back a definition.
This is exactly what we have here in WordNet.
Well, that's still not, you know what I'm saying? That's not, you
But
ran
wrapping
something.
that in an API is trivial.
But you're putting in one command there and getting multiple words back, right?
Yeah, but I started it with one word.
Well, I was busy looking at something else.
Okay, no. I could totally have an API where you say, here's a word, give me all the definition. Here's a word with this item. Here's an identifiers, and here's an identifier. Give me the definition. That's trivial at this point.
Yeah, I would still prefer not to have, something else that can go down. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, it's something that could go down. Then I have to call you. It's just like, it's just more care and feeding than. I think you're overestimating the amount of time I want to spend on this.
I think I've already, well.
We've already spent more time than I wanted to spend on it. Like, I was already exhausted, the thing. It's just an idea to see if there was a pre-built API that I could just.
There's a yes, but it's a library.
Yeah, no, I'm talking an actual live API, which I know you could host it, but you're hosting enough stuff. It's just not. It's not worth the time to care and feed. Keeping another service up or taking up room on your server. It's just not that important. Lambda. Yeah, then I'd have to learn Lambda.
Serverless, something, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just not worth the time right now.
Okay.
But it's one of those things that's kind of on the list to noodle around.
Anyway, I'll make the more elaborate hyper knowledge version someday. It's perhaps even no, not perhaps in the coming year. Now that I have a much clearer idea of where I'm going, but the WordNet is really, as far as I'm concerned, free.
Yeah.
You see that,
yeah, it looks good.
That you're. Yeah, working serverless has its limitations. Yes. I guess it could be possible to take WordNet and explode it into a billion small JSON files. Right?
Yeah.
Say for each word, here's the ID.
Or .html file, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on whether you want data or not, but yeah.
Yeah, ID.html for this ID and word.all meanings, which will give you the list of everything, of all the ideas that exist, or a JSON file, I think, for the words. But it would be trivial to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. It'd just be nice to have a static site where you can go to rhetoric/4 and it would show you that one definition, and that's it. Or just /rhetoric and it would pull them all up. So just taking the file and converting it to HTML with folders and indexes. It's not that big a deal.
I think it's totally worth doing as an API endpoint. It's trivial. I mean, trivial. Okay,
Yeah.
anyway, enough. I'm going to go back to my conference.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.